23 states have now rejected Joe Biden's unemployment plan. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joins the Republican revolt against $300 unemployment benefits that is making it impossible for businesses to fill jobs. Based in Red Pill. Meanwhile, news companies like CNN are collapsing as media viewership is down 70% since Biden became president. Things are not going so well for the mainstream media or the Democrats without Trump. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet we're going to be talking about unemployment and how many Republican states are revolting against a lot of these Democrat policies, which are destroying the US completely. Now, we're going to talk about all of this and more, but before we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash a bell button for notifications for more content, and share this video. If you like the content, the best thing you can do is simply to share it online. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Introducing The Tower Lords. Starting with the book I, Overlord. It's about a man named Jerry who gets isekai'd, pulled from the earth, into a dark, dangerous, magical world as different nations fight for power. In this series, the basic premise is that Jerry and other abductees who were stolen from Earth have to figure out how to survive without being murdered by this world's vicious inhabitants. And if you're interested in sci-fi content, check out the author's YouTube channel, Retro Spectator. Get your copy today by clicking on the link down below. And we're back. So, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is among many of the Republicans who's opting out of Biden's boosted unemployment benefits. Now, there's been many critics, especially in the GOP, against the boosted unemployment benefits. Because, plain and simple, if you're giving people more money to not work, then why would they work? It really becomes a big problem. The problem is that Biden and the Democrats are giving people an incentive to not work. If you don't work, you get an extra $300 on top of unemployment. Make no mistake, an economy cannot function like this. You cannot simply have half of the population working and half of the population collecting welfare. It just doesn't work. The money doesn't come from thin air. They have to print that money, further devaluing the US dollar. So Ron DeSantis announced this week that Florida would no longer be accepting Joe Biden's federal unemployment benefit boost, making it the 23rd state to stop doling out the $300 per week payment to jobless citizens. The states, all run by Republican governors, argue that there are plenty of jobs available, and that the boosted benefits disincentivize the constitutes to go back to work because they make more money sitting at home and collecting. Among the states that have done this are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Ohio, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Quite a lot of states. The story goes on to basically talk about how a lot of these economies have bounced back and there are a lot of jobs available. The main problem is companies are having trouble finding people jobs, like finding people to take the jobs. You see all these signs everywhere saying, we refuse to work because we want $15 an hour to flip hamburgers. Now that's all fine and well, but keep in mind that not every area can support such a wage. That's the main problem with the whole argument of people wanting $15 per hour as minimum wage. If you live in a rural, poor area where you can live off of $8 an hour, $15 an hour is literally impossible, okay? It really depends on where you live. That's why there should be no federal minimum per se, because it doesn't work for all places. Like, the cost of living in a city and the cost of living in the suburbs or in the country are completely different. In other news, everybody is laughing at CNN. Why? Because getting rid of Trump, the big bad orange man, has backfired dramatically, as CNN loses nearly 70% of its viewers since Trump left office.
Police, get what you fucking deserve!
Here on the Daily Caller, it says, ratings from Nelson Media Research reported Tuesday indicated that CNN lost 67% of its total viewers since January, when Donald Trump left the White House. So here it goes on to say that CNN lost around 65% of its 8 to 11 p.m. viewers And in the critical demographic of 25 to 54-year-olds, the network has lost 71% of its viewers for both the day and the prime time. Let me tell you why that's horrible for CNN and their bottom line. 21 to 54 is the main demographic of all, consumers. It's one of the largest demographic populations. This is who's buying your products and looking at your commercials. So if these people are not on board, you aren't making money. CNN is bleeding, and honestly, it's what they deserve. CNN has been trash for a very long time. They're the Orange Man Bad network, full of NPCs. Here it says, CNN's drop in viewers is larger than its competitors, but all major cable news shows have experienced a drop. Serves you right. MSNBC has had the second largest drop in viewership since January, losing 49% of its total viewership. So news watching is down across the board as mainstream media is dying. Maybe it's their fault for lying to us for so many years. So out of all of the mainstream media, Fox News has done the best, losing only 12% of its total viewers and 15% of its viewers aged 25 to 54. So CNN is literally dying, and I have to wonder, what was CNN thinking? That they were simply going to keep doling out their propaganda after Trump was gone? You would think that if the media really cared about their jobs and their ratings, they would have helped Trump become president. But as we know, the Democrats fortified the election. Is that what they're calling it these days? And this brings us to Joe Biden. Now, I've been seeing a lot of news reports about how Joe Biden is being based and red-pilled because Biden has ordered U.S. intelligence to investigate Wuhan and any information regarding any sort of leak from a lab. But this is total nonsense, because if you go over here on the New York Post, you can see Biden team shut down State Department inquiry probing possible lab link. There was an investigation into the origins of COVID, and Biden shut it down. So no, I really do not believe that Joe Biden is actually taking this seriously. We all know who Beijing Biden works for. Do you think Beijing Biden is ever going to call out his own masters? I think not. It's very clear at this point that the Democrats have been a massive failure. Here on the Daily Wire, officers are fleeing from Minneapolis in droves amid a crime surge. There's been a lot of talk right now about Portland, Minneapolis, and many other places where essentially police officers are leaving. They are quitting as Black Lives Matter sets up autonomous zones, causes mayhem, riots in the streets, and people are being shot. Crime is up to insane levels in many of these communities. A lot of them poor, a lot of them high in diversity. Police are just leaving, they're giving up. And could you blame them? Ever since Biden became president, America has been falling down a hill. The economy is crashing, stocks are down, and people are out of work. It's just bad. Biden does everything in his power to destroy America. Now they're talking about importing steel and metal from outside of the country instead of producing it domestically. I mean, it makes me wonder, do Democrats literally want America to collapse? Maybe. Meanwhile, Biden is literally purging anyone who was appointed by Trump to the government. Here on the Daily Mail, Biden is blackmailing Trump-appointed members of the Arts Commission, including a White House architect, to resign or be fired from their jobs. So the White House has continued a purge of Trump employees by demanding resignations of 4 members of the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts. And it really goes to show you what the Democrats are all about. They care more about replacing Trump's appointments than actually running the country. All of this is happening while New York continues to commit a witch hunt against Donald J. Trump. Reports that Manhattan District Attorney C. Vance has convened a special grand jury as part of his probe of the Trump Organization has come out. Trump aides are concerned that Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg will flip on the ex-president and are nervous because he's a numbers guy. Long story short, New York City is trying to persecute Trump. That's all it is. It's a witch hunt. They're going after anybody they can. This is all just a farce. The Democrats, and I gotta make this clear, the Democrats are literally an extremist ideology. What they're trying to do is purge the government of anything Trump had to do with. And while they're doing it, they're also destroying the country. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you want to support the channel, as this channel is not monetized currently, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Joining will give you access to our Discord server, Fight Club. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.